Hi, you guys. Welcome to yet another episode of this podcast, Upfront and Personal. Here is your host, Ananya, all set to become upfront and personal with each and every one of you listening. If you are a regular podcast listener, you will understand what I'm talking about. This is how I start my podcast, this is how I start all my episodes. And yes, this is the face behind it. If you are my friend and if you know me, you already know my face. And thank you so much for not forgetting my face because let's face it, I have not seen you guys in over a year. And if you are my colleague or my client or my team member, yes, this is the place from which I hold my Zoom calls. And if you are my mom, hi, the room is not clean. I'm sorry. So you guys, I started posting my videos on YouTube for about a month now. I think I'll finish a month on this Monday. And I started my podcast on December 31st, 2020. So I'm a bit like around 5 months old. No, I am 5 months old, more than that actually. And I never put my face on any platform. My podcast is on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, stuff like that. All the mainstream podcast apps that they're there, but my face is not there. Even my photo is not there. And if you are not someone who knows me in personal life, and let's just face it, right now my following is this minuscule that almost everyone who follows me knows me in personal life. But if you are not if you're not someone who has met me, you will never be able to put a face to it. And it was sort of working to the detriment of me because I started posting my videos on YouTube and they weren't getting much traction. They aren't getting much traction because there is no face. And I completely get it that YouTube is a video platform and Spotify, Anchor, these are like audio platforms. So when I put my podcasts on those sort of podcast apps, it works because that's the intended purpose of it. So even with graphics, if I put it on YouTube and sort of convert it in a video format, it just doesn't work that way. It doesn't click that way because, let's face it, that's not why it's put on YouTube and that's not why people click on YouTube, right? So I thought of showing my face and I thought of maybe exploring the territory of YouTube because I don't want to basically put out that impression that I don't take this platform seriously, or maybe, I just don't worry about it, that if YouTube works or not. I do everything by myself, my podcast, my even converting them to YouTube videos and all of that, even while carrying on my main job as a lawyer. So of course I'm dedicated, and of course, I don't take any of this lightly. The I started doing this video because I wanted to explain why my face is nowhere at all. And I know I'm doing this while showing my face for the first time, which is, I understand, a very big irony. And this entire video could be called as an irony, and I completely get it. It's just that I am very, very camera conscious, and I am not sure if you have already gotten this in this 3 minutes 30 seconds, but I am. I don't like taking my pictures. I don't like taking selfies. If you are someone who follows me on Instagram, I have 560 followers over there, so I'm pretty popular, obviously. Uh, if you are someone who follows me on Instagram, you will know that I don't put a lot of photos or selfies or whatnot of my own self. I like taking photos of other people or objects or my books and stuff like that, but not of my own self because I don't feel comfortable being in front of camera. I don't like giving my face or my physical appearance a lot of importance. I think that's why when I started doing the kind of content that I do, almost all of it can be made into a YouTube video. Almost everything that I talk about is something that's available in the form of YouTube videos all over YouTube. So I do something that could be for either of the platforms, but I don't show my face because I feel terribly uncomfortable in front of camera. And it could be because I have social anxiety. It could be because I'm an overthinker. It could be because, let's face it, in lockdown, we have not gotten the time and opportunity to give time and attention to a physical appearance. We have not gone to the parlors. We all work in pajamas. This is a light blue Big Bang Theory t-shirt. I'm working in it since morning. So So you can obviously understand that, physical appearance is the last concern or the least of my concerns for the past 1 year. But now, if, I have decided to come here and talk and show my face instead, just so that, I can match the format of YouTube, it will require a lot of life changes also. Because please consider, the Upfront and Personal podcast is something, as the name suggests, is an extension of who I am. Yes, there could be topics that I would choose not to talk about, but more or less it's the same, right? It's something that is me, that's very me. And it's one thing to be vulnerable while you're just putting your voice out there and your opinions out there and your anecdotes out there, and it's completely another ball game altogether to put your face out there. I'm not even sure how this video is going. So, but I'm trying to do it and I'm trying to get there, but I'm not trying to be perfect. My podcast, the entire ideology of all the content that I produce, it's not about being perfect. It's not about portraying an image that, oh, I'm so perfect, I'm so beautiful, I'm so this, I'm so that. Look at my room right now. You can see the mess that it is. I am just, if you can see, I'm literally sitting in front of a mirror. So if I move a bit, you will also see the reflection and you'll see the back of my head that I don't want you to see. So you can just see, it's not a professional setup. So, and my audios and the episodes that I put on my podcast are also very unedited, unfiltered. So if I can do that in audio, I can also do that in video. So I'm thinking of a couple of ideas. Just hear me out. Maybe in the comments below or personal message to me on my Instagram. My Instagram is linked down below. Just tell me, what can I do? I am thinking right now that I will just put some unedited, unfiltered videos over here basically. Or I can record my podcast in a video format as well. So for example, I just attach a mic to my MacBook. I'm shooting it on my MacBook right now. And just put it here. Just publish them, and you will, so for podcast, if you just want to plug in your earphones and go on a walk and stuff like that, and would not want to see this beautiful face, I don't know why I did that, you can just go over to Spotify, Anchor, your podcast apps, and you can go over and check that out. But if you do want to see me talking, and video or visual sort of medium is something that connects with you, then of course you can come to YouTube and see me. So this is one thing that I'm trying to do. Second idea that I have is to introduce and start a segment called Chatty Sundays. So basically my Sundays and every other day starts with a beautiful cup of tea. So I will just sit here, I will open my MacBook and I will start drinking tea. And as I take my sips of tea, I'll just talk to the camera a little bit and just put out these 10-minute videos. And yeah, that would be it. So those videos would not be a podcast and would not be telecasted and recorded in the form of podcast and put on Spotify or Anchor. So if, like for example, a title of this video, it will not have like a line and Upfront and Personal podcast. So till you have Upfront and Personal podcast in the title, you will find all those podcasts in the podcast apps. And if it's not there, then it's just material for YouTube. What I have been failing to do and what I don't do very often right now, I've never done it right till now, is that I don't really produce or create any kind of content that's just for YouTube. I mean, this is the first time I'm recording any video, any thing that I want to do in a video format. So of course I'm a bit jittery, I'm a bit nervous and stuff like that. But I'm not going to, edit this video. If this video, finds its way to YouTube, it's going to be an unedited version of it. I'm not going to, put do a lot of cuts and stuff like that. No, because that's how my podcast is and that's how my YouTube content is also going to be about. So from now on, the plan is to video record some of the podcast and put it here. And as I explained earlier, then you can have your pick as to what, if you want to go for video or audio format. And maybe just do the Chatty Sundays video format sort of a thing that's just for YouTube. It's a YouTube specific content. Or just, there will be some podcasts which are like an an hour long or 50-minute longs. There are very, very few and far in between episodes on my podcast that are that long. But if there are, and if the conversation needs that kind of time and attention and material, especially when I have guests on, then it would be hard for me to put it in a video format. So because if I am going to produce podcasts that are in both video and audio format, they would require separate, not editing, but maybe some kind of trimming, and maybe some kind of, if there's a gap, or if I get a phone call, or if somebody else gets a phone call, there are a lot of technical difficulties that just find their way back in when I do this podcast with guests. Because let's face it, all the podcasts, all the episodes on which I had guests over, they all were virtual. None of that was real, because again, I have not met anyone who has featured on my podcast except my mother, who was sitting right next to me. So yeah, that's the idea, and that's how I want to approach YouTube. I'm not going to clean this mess out. I'm not going to try to go to a place which is more posh and more clean and all of that. That's okay. I can I record my podcast here. I can record my videos over here, and I'm completely fine with it. I'm completely fine with it that I have all these baby hair right now. I'm fine with it that my eyebrows, both of my eyebrows, have a very distinct, beautiful personality to each of them. That's okay. I like the way I look. Yes, there would be times when maybe, I have a huge zit right over here. Or I don't know, if I'm not just feeling well, or I don't want to come in front of a camera, maybe then I'll just postpone it and I'll not do this. Because let's face it, self-love is a journey, and I'm not completely okay with I look, but definitely it has been much better. So, yeah. So until and unless in those situations, I'm trying to be regular on YouTube. I don't know if this will do well, if you will receive it with positivity or not. I'm actually very nervous. It's almost like when I put up my first podcast 5 months back. That was a audio format, and this is a video format. So yeah, maybe I know how to talk, but to talk in front of a camera and to try to be somewhat comfortable, try to be somewhat comfortable around and in front of camera is a entire ball game altogether. And I'm trying to just be comfortable with it and make some sort of sense here. I'm not even sure why this video is being made and how it will reach people, but whatever it is, I'm just going to put it out there, because for a person who is as camera conscious and as anxious as me, it's very important for me to just break the ice with an imperfect video. Because if I strive for perfection, or if I start striving for perfection, it would not be a justification to my own content and my own brand. I'm not a brand, but whatever. And also, I don't want to do that. That's not something why I started this journey of content creation in the first place. You see all these YouTube videos with all these professional cameras and just people, just having these white houses and these beautiful decor and these expensive like ball gowns or whatever, and just their hair and makeup done professionally for every video. I skip on all that content because I'm like, yes, your life is perfect, but then what? I think perfect is quite boring. I'm not perfect. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching it are not perfect, and that's completely fine. I think imperfection is beautiful, and I think that's one of the most liberating things I've ever said or understood in my life in the past 2-3 years, and it helped my mental health tremendously. So that's okay. I'm never going to be like, okay, I'll just put some effort in doing my hair or doing my makeup. I never put makeup, and I'm never going to come in front of camera in makeup or anything. That's okay. I'm completely comfortable with that. So yeah, there are going to be a lot of maybe unedited or a video content that's going to come your way. Let's just let me know if that's something that you would want to see. I'm also very interested in vlogging, but considering that I don't have a camera right now, I can't vlog. But maybe later on, maybe few months later on, down the lane, if I get a camera, maybe I'll also start vlogging. I don't know. I don't want to show a lot of my house or anything. I'm very private in those matters, and also I am not someone who lives alone, so I have to also respect the privacy of my family members and stuff like that. who am I kidding? Like, there are 10 people who watch me on YouTube and maybe 20 people who listen to my podcast, but whatever. I literally have some 100 odd subscribers. Privacy. But whatever it is, even if it's one person watching and my mother doesn't like it or my father doesn't like it, it's not going to go here. Like, it's my personal choice to be on internet, and I don't want to force it on people just because they're living in the same house as a maniac like me. So yeah, I also want to, post this video just in the format that it is, because when we look at these videos, if someone who is there, who is in his first 6 months of content creation, first month, first week, they feel like, if I don't have a very professional camera, I'm not going to start it. So let me just save it up. Yes, I can't afford it right now. Yes, I don't have a lot of photography knowledge. So, people, they have such beautifully produced and photographed and shot videos, and I don't have that kind of resources to my disposal. So I'm not going to start anything. Just fire up your MacBook or phone for the starting. Yes, some years down the lane, if you are able to afford it and if you want to learn it, that's completely okay. You can get a camera later on, but just to start, the content that's matter, the fact that you have the confidence and nerve to come in front of a camera and talk, that matters. Not everyone has the money or resources or even guts to own a DSLR. At least I don't. I can afford it, but I don't want to buy it because I have no camera knowledge, and that's okay. I just know that I have to look in the camera because I know where the camera of my MacBook is. That's it. That's the extent of my photography knowledge. But these skill sets you can acquire later on. All you need to do is be confident and, just believe in the content that you want to create. What am I talking about? Like, this is the first YouTube video that I'm putting it out there. But I just want to just say this, that if I can fire up my MacBook and just record an impromptu video and had the guts to put it on and upload it on YouTube, even you can do that. And I'm sure you have a cleaner room than this to do that. I'm gonna go now. You can see my AC running. I don't know why that was relevant, but I'm gonna go now, and I will come back tomorrow, and maybe I think 1 or 2 times this week. I'm not too sure. It depends on how busy I am in my regular job. To just come here and produce more videos. If you don't know who I am, and maybe I should have said it in the beginning, I am a 25-year-old lawyer who lives in India, and I have a full-time job. So my podcast, YouTube, all of these things, they are subject to any external timelines that I get assigned to. So it really depends on how busy I am or how free I am. I'm gonna go now. I hope you all have a very great day and stay tuned.